Oh yeah, I forgot. On eBay, I have a Gregory Palisade 80 and awesome pack, but I read a bunch of reviews online and wanted to try out a external pack. So I bought this one that's on me. It's a Kelty. It just said vintage, extra large. I have no idea the model, but usually I'm a sweaty pig by right now. My shirt is barely wet. Insanely comfortable. Packing it usually takes me 15-20 minutes to pack, and this took probably literally 5-7 minutes. It doesn't have any shoulder harness, but it has been a problem for me so far. But it rides perfect on my back. I adjusted it last night, but it's almost like it's not even there. And I've got weighing it in, it was 34.2 pounds. I don't have my bear can with my food and stuff, but I do have overnight provisions. But that's about it. But 25 bucks. I mean, yeah, it's used, but I mean, it works. So why not? I mean, it's pretty awesome. This is a Sunset Trail that I'm using the Kelty quote-unquote vintage pack on. Established, yes, but you got some overhangs. It's scraped a couple times, as you can hear. But again, it's really comfortable. Doesn't weigh enough to where it throws me off the trail. I mean, of course it's not. Again, this is fairly established, but really any terrain, if your pack is packed incorrectly, or the weight is distributed incorrectly, you're gonna have a tough time. And if you can hold the camera and walk at the same time, which I haven't ever been able to do, I'd say not just one but 2 thumbs up so far. This is about, I don't have my GPS with me. Whoops, stick on my, it's probably 1.7 in. And Sunset Trails, it's a nice scenery, but it's only max 350 foot elevation throughout probably 3 miles of the trail, and then it jumps up to 450. And then as you're climbing back out to the trailhead, it tops out at 5,400 feet, 5,500 feet, somewhere around there. Again, I don't have my GPS, so exact numbers are just going off the top of my melon right now. But there's an overhang right there. I just dipped my knees. I hit it, but so what? It's 25 bucks. Another 3/4 mile or so. I just missed the there's a little valley in there. It's an awesome view, but so is this. But I wanted to show you this part. Okay, obviously fallen tree. The camera's in my hand on my X-Shot. Now you can obviously go through right there, which I may go through there just to, no, I'll go through there just to prove the point. That's a little too big for me, and I'm 6'1". That log's probably almost 2 foot. So I got the camera in my hand, the pack's on. Again, if it's weighted correctly, packed correctly, and it fits you correctly, then you should barely see any movement in this camera. Now, I'm, as you can tell from my breathing, a little bit out of shape. I have some leg power. Part of it is technique as well. I do have hiking poles, but I'm not going to use them. I'm just going to step on the log over, and you can see by how much it moves. Again, see, no hiking poles. How much it moves, that if you can step up with your pack on and get over that and barely move the camera, that sucker's comfortable. Plain and simple, I don't care who you are. I'll give you a little some more of the trail. You can see the trail goes pretty much straight up that way. Almost where my pole is the trail that goes through. And there's not a whole lot of overhang. Again, fairly established. And I did hit a couple branches, but it didn't throw me off. Just incredible so far. You can't see it, and even if you could, my zoom sucks. I absolutely love helicopters. But I wanted to show you this terrain with the Kelty quote-unquote vintage. Hopefully somebody will I'll do a review later, help me out on the actual model. Again, I don't think they would call a pack vintage, but anyways, that's what I'm calling it for now. So I've got my X-Shot 2.0, which I'll probably do a review on as well, in my hand, and my poles are not going to be used, but I'll just walk at a normal pace. Just kick my stupid pole. God, just hit the rock with my pole. You know, the terrain's not too rocky, but with this rocky, even with as little as it is, you're going to notice the weight on your back, most definitely. And right now, nada. It's going to throw you off. You're going to trip. Hopefully not bust an ankle or sprain it. And that's, you know, my Gregory Palisade, it didn't do that. And, you know, I mean, again, that was an awesome pack too, but it didn't matter how I packed it. The weights for me seemed to be riding just a little bit too low. When I initially bought it from REI, I had the guys in there, you know, adjust it for me and all that good stuff. And I did tweak the belt with I think it's called an ERS system, angle adjustment. You know, I'd go for 2 miles, change it, 2 miles, change it, and finally came on the setting of 3 to be the most comfortable. But it just still seemed to ride again too low on my hips. Like, I don't know, I just couldn't get it. I couldn't get it on the what is that thing, the fulcrum. So again, that's why I wanted to try the external, just to see basically what everybody was talking about. And this is going to, you know, I'll keep this pack just because it was so cheap. But what I'll do is look for me, everybody may or may not know, his name is Nut and Fancy. He's on YouTube. He has a big extending backpacking series, awesome series, just check it out. But he reviewed the Kelty Super Tioga, and that's why I chose the name Kelty first off, basically just because of the quality that everybody was ranting about. And I wasn't able to find a Super Tioga on eBay, and the ones I were able to find, they were, you know, we'll just say 150 bucks. I didn't have a problem spending that, but I didn't want to spend that just to test something out. But now that I'm thoroughly convinced of the external, I will definitely keep the Gregory and I'll use it, but I'll be looking for Super Taiga without a doubt. I mean, just there's absolutely no question about it. You know, even just for the packing alone, I mean, that was so super fast. But for me, I have bad knees. I've had, you can hear some scraping right there. I've had 6 surgeries on my left knee. Torn meniscus. That was 5 of the surgeries until basically there wasn't any left. And then I was rubbing bone against bone and it just got too uncomfortable. So I did what they call a double osteotomy. They took 2 6mm, stupid rock, wedge sections out of my lower leg to straighten my legs out. Because I grew up racing motorcycles, so you know, I'm bow-legged, kind of look like a cowboy. But one of my legs is straight and one's still crooked because it hasn't blown out yet. So, damn, I just kicked it. Kicked my stick. So in time, I'm sure I'll do that, but that's not what this review is about. I guess kind of it is. Only because if I didn't have bad knees, you know, yeah, the pack could be not necessarily such an issue, but it is for me. So again, this is some of the trail, some of the rocks, and we'll see how this rock does. And I'll probably go, just for review purposes, I'll go over this way. Usually I'd take the wuss way and go that way, but I will say one thing too. Right? When I started hiking, actually about the June last year, I've always hiked, but never with, we'll just call it backpacking weight. You know, just water and I call it stupid provisions, you know, in case you got lost or hurt or whatever. You were going to have a cold night. I don't care if it was during the summer. But because of my knees, I started using trekking poles, and I lived in Colorado for about a year, and I bought these in Colorado. They're just some crappy Expedition, I don't even know the brand, but they probably have with my trips maybe 200 miles on them. You know, they're holding up good, but they were like 15 bucks. But I will say, if I didn't have these, I wouldn't be here. There's no way that I could do this with even 10 pounds with my knees. The technique, yeah, it took quite a bit to get used to, at least for me. But once you did, you know, techniques are one thing and there's experts and all that good stuff. But to me, it's variations to what works for you. And for me, this was, I just kicked my pole, sorry. For me, I couldn't do this. You know, like I said, again, there's no way. So it's gotten me, they've gotten me out of a lot on the trails, from picking the wrong footholds, but mainly downhills. The downhills seem to kill me more than the uphills, but you know, I couldn't live without trekking poles. So some people I've heard online, you know, oh, they're silly, you don't need them, you know, humans have never used walking poles. Well, we don't have records because the only poles that existed were wood. So I can guarantee you they did. If you look at National Geographic and stuff like that, particularly the African tribesmen, all their long bows and even their short bows, if you look at any of their pictures and you know, their videos, what are they doing? They're using their bows as walking sticks. So don't tell me it hasn't been around, because they've been around for thousands of years. So, you know, if you think you're going to look silly, well, so what?